Hi Capricorn, welcome. This is Taurus Tarot and I'm Joy, and we are getting an energy reading for you. So we are asking Source, what is the message that Capricorn needs to hear? What is important for Capricorn to know right now? What is important for Capricorn to know right now? So some things that were coming through earlier were really about confidence. I felt like there was perhaps a little bit of lack of confidence on your end, and but it was because of you know, some past things that you may have experienced and that you kind of developed a framework of not being good enough for. So it's important to explore that a little bit, whatever it is. I feel like there's something that happened in the past that caused you to develop these thought patterns of not being good enough. And that is just not true. You are absolutely good enough, and you absolutely do have what it takes to move forward. And I feel like that you are understanding that more and more every day, that you are understanding that you are worthy, and not only are you worthy, but that you are like perfectly capable of accomplishing what it is that you want to go out there and accomplish, and also that has to be defined on your own terms. So meaning that thing that you want to work towards, that you want to accomplish, make sure that it's actually yours. Make sure that it's not somebody else's or society's, meaning that it hasn't been something that has been conditioned into you to go out and achieve. Make sure it's something that you know, on a soul level, you know that that's what you want and that's what you want to work towards. Could that change as you start moving towards it? Of course. But in the moment, you know, before you even venture out on your path, before you even start your journey, the number one thing that you need to be aware of and be sure of is that you're doing it because you want to do it, and not because you were given some message that you're supposed to do it, or that you're doing it because it's going to please somebody in your life, perhaps your parents or a spouse or, you know, a partner or whatever it is. Make sure you're doing it for you, right? And that it's something that you really want to do. Okay, so let's see what the cards say. So we have the King of Cups. Love this card, King of Cups. The Nine of Swords. The Heirophant. And the Three of Pentacles. Yeah, so this is exactly what was coming in earlier. The King of Cups here is like, I'm really feeling like this is representative of the energy of something that you feel in love with, you know, and it's different from like being passionate about, right? Because I feel like if it were something that was that you felt passionate about, that it would be the wands that would be coming out. So this is something that you are like completely in love with. I mean, I'm feeling this as an energy of like this feels like big, like this feels like something that cannot be separate from you. Like this feels like it's like an extension of you almost, and it could be a person, but I feel more like it's I feel more like it being not a thing, but like an experience almost. Yeah, like an experience. Like I feel like this is an experience that that your soul has been wanting, and perhaps it is being made evident to you only now. Perhaps you always knew, but this is something that is like your soul is calling for, and that you don't even feel separate from. It's almost like this is like a piece of your soul that is has kind of like strayed from the rest of you, and like you need to go out there and find it now, and like bring it back and claim it as your own again. It's like this piece of your soul that went missing or something like that. I almost feel like and this may pertain to just a few people, but I almost feel like it's like you were living in a certain place, and like, say St. Thomas or something like that, and this place was just like amazing for you. Like you've never felt so at home before, but like perhaps you were a child, and your parents had to had to leave because of work, and thus you had to go with them, and so you were kind of pulled away from this place that you felt that was like where you belonged, where your home was. And that's kind of the feeling like that I'm getting from from this card. And it's almost like when you left a piece of yourself there, a piece of your soul there. So that's what this card is really speaking to me about right now. Yeah. And I feel like it has brought you pain in the past. It has brought you both. Okay, I just heard two things. That one, that it has caused you some pain in the past, and two, that there's some fear involved with revisiting that pain. And so it's not like, it's like, even though your heart is calling out for it, even though your soul is telling you that this is, this is a part of you, whatever this is, it's almost like your human self does not want to relive it because it was so painful. It was so painful. Or and it could actually be a play together with that painful feeling, is you're also afraid of bringing it up again or revisiting it because of that pain, and that puts you in a little bit of a fearful place. Okay. And this is this is definitely, the Hierophant is always, to me, about conditioning. It's about rules and regulations, and being conditioned into a certain pattern of thinking or a certain way of being that is not of your soul self. It is like being born into a Catholic family and being raised Catholic, right? Being taught that you are Catholic, you have to be Catholic, you can't engage with your God in any other way because you are Catholic. But the truth of the matter is that, religion is still something that is taught to you, right? And you are in so many ways sort of what's the word, like the word, initiated into the religion by your family from the day you were born, right? But as you get older and as you start to tune in to your soul self and start to recognize the conditioning that was put upon you, right? That meaning, you know, your parents raised you to be this certain person. Your parents raised you in this certain way to have these certain beliefs. And so once you become aware of that, you start asking yourself, this is what my parents believe, but is this really what I believe? And you start wanting to get the answers for yourself. And so you may find that, hey, you really do, you go out there and you explore different religions, and you find ones that make the most sense to you, and or you acknowledge ones that make absolutely no sense to you, and you might find yourself back at this place of calling yourself a Catholic and identifying as a Catholic, and that's okay. But because at that point it's your choice, like you've chosen it, through examination, of other ideas that are out there, and through examination of what you feel resonates with your soul. And so that's okay if you come back to Catholicism as the way, the framework in which you want to engage in life and engage with God or Source, right? But that is completely different from taking it all in and blindly accepting what it is without questioning it, right? Just blindly accepting it because it was what your parents knew, and their parents before them knew, and their parents before them, right? So that is, it's highly more powerful and is so much more meaningful when through a process of exploration, you discover what is in alignment with your own soul, as opposed to just accepting what is. Yeah, there's a huge enlightening that happens in that process, and it doesn't necessarily matter whether you come to Catholicism or Christianity or Hinduism or whatever it is. The point is more about the journey and what makes sense for you. Okay. And so I'm feeling that you are really in this place of questioning first of all, acknowledging and recognizing your conditioning, recognizing the thoughts and ideas that were given to you, and given to you in a way that you were to take them as truth without questioning them, right? So I feel like you're aware of this now, and so you've become also more aware of whether this teaching, this conditioning that was put on you is really in alignment with your soul self or not. Okay. And I really feel that it's not. I really feel like it's not. I feel like you're realizing that, what you've been told and what you've been taught does not resonate with you, and it does not feel right to you, and it is something that you're gonna have to find a way to move past in order to find this piece of yourself that is missing from you, that has been disconnected from you. This piece of yourself, you are love, right? Source is love. So this piece of a love has kind of been like broken off from you and either left behind somewhere or something, but there's something missing in your heart of hearts. Like, that there's something missing, and that you need to go out there and find it. But in order for you to find it, you need to first let go of this dogma and this conditioning, and the whole situation is really causing some anxiety in you. Because if you think about it, right, and this is not the it doesn't have to be only in the case of religion, but it's probably the best example, because it's probably something that most or not most, but many people encounter in their lives, is this idea of religion. And you know, and whether the teachings of a certain religion really actually resonate with you or not, or whether you know, they resonated with someone else who then put it on you, right? So there's some peacemaking, you know, some balancing that has to happen with this this conditioning that was put on you, that you're coming to terms with, that some light is being shed on. And either, you know, either it's that piece of you you feel is missing that brings it about, or it's you know, you understanding this that brings about this search for this part of you that is missing. Yeah, I feel like this King of Cups is an aspect of you, of your soul self, that is missing, that you have been out of touch with. And it's important for you to feel whole again. It's important to you, for you to go and find that aspect of yourself. Okay? And it's not missing in like a literal sense, like it is actually somewhere else. It's everything you need is always within you, but sometimes we have to dig through a lot of the nonsense and the fluff in order to get to that piece of you, and to like kind of like take off all the layers of it so that it can express itself within you, sort of. I hope that makes sense. And I really feel that you know, this is leading you to build something that is, you know, more powerful and more meaningful in your life. That gives you purpose in your life. Yeah, it's like when you find this piece of yourself here, it's like then the real work starts to begin. Then the real building of your soul self begins to come, you know, happen, right? And it's not necessarily like this building of your soul self, but it's this like this building of this thought framework of expressing your soul self in your 3D reality, right? Whereas this, for me, is really like, you know, you look at this guy, and like, you know, he's got this gold crown and these long ornate robes and this beautiful stained glass window behind him, right? And it makes me think of the opulence of the Catholic Church. And you know, and it's almost as if like it's masking the reality of what it is. It's almost like this, you know, this gold and these tapestries and these, you know, textiles or whatever, and these stained glass windows and these ornate things are enticing you to be part of the mainstream or the conditioning or whatever, and not question what's beneath it, because on the surface it's so beautiful and enticing, right? So that it calls you in. But then when you get right down to it, you know, what's in there, you know, what's underneath all of that opulence has to be in alignment with your soul. And if it's not, then you have to find something else that is. Okay? Okay. And I feel like, you know, this is you building that outside of your, like building the 3D expression of yourself, that is reflecting the inner self, right? So this is you moving that inner self to be reflected on the outside of yourself. That's the building that's happening here. Okay? Okay. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty intense. I think, you know, all of us are kind of in a space where we are definitely questioning, you know, what is truth, yeah? And the answer is that, you know, you have to find your own truth. You can't just automatically accept the truth that is given to you, you know. And this holds true for like politics as well, right? You have one politician on one side of the, you know, on one side saying XYZ, and the other politician on the other side saying ABC, you know, two completely different perspectives of the same idea, right? And so it's like, you know, which one do you want to believe? And perhaps it's neither. And so what you're being forced to do is to really to go within yourself and discover truth on your own terms, okay? Now this is different from fact, right? Because fact is fact, yeah? You know, there's, you know, 1 + 1 is 2, that's a fact, yeah? But, you know, is Catholicism the framework for me, or is Hinduism the framework for me? Hinduism is the framework for me. That's your truth. That's your own personal truth. Now, somebody can have a different personal truth and say, Catholicism is the framework for me, right? And that's their personal truth. And that's okay. Like, we can each have our own personal truths. And I don't have to hate you because your truth is different from mine. And you don't have to hate me because my truth is different from yours. We can respect the diversity of expression, right? We can respect that the universe, that source, is wanting to experience itself in different ways through us, right? So through different expressions of all of us, right? Source is experiencing itself through us, and how we are you know, choosing to express our truth, right? So you know, and that is like, that's the beauty of life, that's the diversity of life, that's the, you know, the color of life. That's what makes it so exciting and beautiful. If we all thought the same, we all looked the same, we all acted the same, what would be the point in having different, you know, people? You just have one person if they're all going to be the same, right? And, you know, so I'm kind of going off a little bit, and I'm you know, it's kind of speaking from a stream of consciousness. I'm sorry, but I hope you understand that. Like, I hope you understand that that truth can, you know, people can have different truths, and what's true for me, it doesn't have to be true for you, and we can still respect each other. However, we still have to also acknowledge fact. And you know, if the fact is that, you know, 1 + 1 = 2, then, you know, that's the fact. If the fact is he said XYZ, then that's what he said, right? That's a fact. Now, the truth can come in as far as you're going to interpret what he said in one way, and I'm going to interpret it in another way. So that's my truth, and that's your truth. And we can have a disagreement about how we interpret it. But in the end, I'm going to be true to myself, right? In that sense. And you can be true to yourself, and we can still all get along. Okay, I'm going to stop there. So Capricorn, that is what it is for you. I feel like there's some definite questioning that is happening for you. I also feel like there's something missing. Like, you feel like there's a piece of yourself that is missing, and you need to go out and find it. But first you need to like kind of like go through this process of determining, you know, what is yours, what is you, and what is not you, in order to be able to go out and find that part of yourself that is missing. Okay, wishing you the best of luck, sending you lots of love. Aloha, namaste.